What's up guys, it's the Honest Outlaw here, and today we're going to be doing a little impromptu video. A video I've been wanting to do for a while, and hopefully I have all the information right off the top of my head. We'll see how it goes. We're going to be talking about the best pistol caliber carbines. Well, basically the best pistol caliber carbine for the money, but I'm going to be referencing a lot in here and a couple of different options, maybe a couple different price tiers, because I've got a lot of experience with the pistol caliber carbine. It's sort of my favorite type of gun. I think it's very useful. Most people think they're useless. I disagree completely. I think they flex into a lot of different categories, which we'll talk about. And again, I've had experience with almost every major pistol caliber carbine on the market, so we'll just talk about it a little bit today. And hopefully that'll help you decide maybe which one you want to get, or if you do or do not want to get one at all. Before we do that, I want to mention my Patreon supporters. Thank you guys very much. It's because of you most of these guns got here on the channel. Thank you for helping me buy guns and ammunition. If you want to help support the channel, it's the best way to do it. All you got to do is go down to the link in the description and sign up. Also in that description is a link to a local shelter. As always, in Ames, Iowa, the YSS. It's a local children's shelter that I would really like you to go down and click the donate page and just give a couple bucks to. A couple bucks goes a long way, so go down there, do a good deed. Now, on the table here, we have 4 of my favorite pistol caliber carbines, but we are going to be referencing quite a few more that I've had a lot of experience with. Now, one thing you have to remember is just because a gun isn't on the table here and I didn't keep it after the review doesn't mean that I didn't like it. I have to get rid of a bunch of guns and get a whole bunch of new guns for review all the time, so sometimes just the very bare bones stays. And in this case, these are obviously my favorite, but they might not be the best for you, so keep that in mind. And what we're going to do here is we're going to kind of go from least expensive to most expensive, tell you kind of how I feel about them, and maybe where in that is the best bang for the buck. Now, one thing I do have to mention is, why am I wearing this dirty Under Armour sleeve? It's because I got a tattoo done and I can't have it out in the sun right now. And there is a blistering heat wave going on right now in Iowa. We're a little over 100, which is not normally the case. Also, I have red hair, so it's even worse. First gun we're going to talk about here is going to be the X-Star EP9, which is one of a very popular gun on my channel. And the reason for that is because it was $300 at the time of purchase. It's a little bit more now, around $400, but it's still arguably, in my opinion at least, the least expensive pistol caliber carbine that I would recommend. It's pretty awesome. It's all polymer, upper and lower. It takes AR triggers as long as you change the safety. It even comes with a polymer safety, which I got rid of immediately. I don't like my trigger components wearing out in any way, so I went with steel on those. And if you go with a AR trigger, you have to go with a steel safety or it will rub off, so be aware of that. I have an M-LOK rail in this. It comes with a standard tri-rail, which works perfectly fine. I just have a buddy of mine who's a Patreon supporter that is trying to develop a rail, so I'm doing a little testing for him on the side, and this is a version of that. Put a comp on it, however, you don't need one. This takes a suppressor, any kind of muzzle device you want, 1/2 by 28 thread, which is pretty sweet because pistol caliber carbines, in my opinion, are the best gun to suppress, and so it takes a suppressor relatively nicely. Picatinny rail off the top, then it has even a side charging handle, which is pretty sweet. Glock magazines, which is pretty awesome as well. You can stick those 15, 17, 33 round mags, whatever you want in there. And magazine compatibility with Glock is super awesome because they are probably the most popular magazine. They're super cheap as well. Comes with a buffer tube system on it that just comes with a standard fixed SP tactical brace. However, I put a SBA 3 on here, and I think only the original generations can do that, so be aware of that. If you get one of these, you might not be able to have this feature, depending on which particular X-Star EP9 that you get. And it comes with a more vertical B5 Systems pistol grip, which I think is a great bang for the buck as well. A lot of grip there for the money. Now, the awesome things about this are that it's reliable and that it's accurate, and that it comes with pretty much every feature that you're going to need for $300 to $400, which is absolutely freaking incredible. If you really get into some of the guns later on down the list, you'll see why. It works really well. It's a direct blowback system, making it a little bit more recoil than maybe some others that we're gonna have on this table. But for the money, that's absolutely fantastic. We put 2,000 plus rounds through this gun, 0 malfunctions, and that's really, really saying something. Now, one of the things you're gonna have to look out for is with budget style guns like this, it's possible, much more probable, that you're gonna get a lemon than you would with something like an MP5, for example. Now, whether that's worth, you know, the extreme price of the MPX or MP5, which we'll get into in a minute, is gonna be up to you. However, parts wear is gonna be more, lower quality materials on the parts, Polymer upper is not amazing because that's one of the things you want to have super strong, because that's where all the explosion takes place. So if the receiver did blow up, you wouldn't be very pretty anymore afterward. So now with 9mm, very low pressure, you don't have to worry about that so much. However, it is something to be aware of as far as long-term durability. This is not going to be the ticket. You want something to throw out of a helicopter or go hog hunting with, or drag behind a truck, or whatever you crazy people do. This is not going to be where it's at. It's not an Afghanistan, Iraq type of gun. This is a home defense, shoot a couple hundred rounds a year type of gun. And if you're looking for that, and you're looking for a low priced, relatively high quality gun that can stand a reasonable round count, it has all the features that you want. The XR EP9 is phenomenal. Like I said, I've had it for 3 years now, and I beat the shit out of my guns and nothing has happened to this, but they're just, with the parts quality that it has, there's a little more high likelihood that it will happen. That being said, you want to get into one for under 500 bucks, this is really the only way to go. Now, a couple that I'm going to mention in that tier that are not on the table are going to be like the Freedom Ordnance FX9, phenomenal gun, 1,000 rounds through. I think it had maybe one failure, and it takes Glock mags and all that lovely stuff too, and it has a little bit higher quality parts than the XR EP9. Maybe looking at that. It's also direct blowback, so be aware of that. And then going up a little higher in price, another gun I would absolutely recommend would be the Strybog. Not the roller delayed system or anything, the Generation 3, which has had all the problems lately, but the original Gen 2 is still like $500 to $700, and it's direct blowback, but it's very reliable, and it looks cool, and it shoots mean too. Up from there, you're going to be looking at the CZ Scorpion, which is a gun that I will again buy relatively soon. Another direct blowback gun that is super reliable and super bomb-proof. It has excellent magazines, proprietary magazines, but excellent magazines that are cheap, and it has all the accessories you're going to need to pimp it out. And overall, a super reliable, durable, very robust design. Love the CZ Scorpion. Out of the budget tier, we're going to get into mid-tier, and that's where I think you probably are going to get the best bang for your buck and probably the best PCC for the money, in my opinion. So, and that, in my opinion, again, is going to be the CMMG Banshee. This is actually the second CMMG Banshee I've owned. I like the green, I like the colors that Banshee comes in, and I like the system that the Banshee uses. It uses a delayed system. I forget the name of it off the top of my head, but it uses a recoiling mitigation system in it, unlike the blowback systems previously, which makes it function a little bit better. I don't know if you're aware of this, but pistol caliber carbines that are direct blowback usually have a much larger bolt, and that causes a much larger recoil impulse than even a 5.56, even though you're shooting a much smaller round. So the advantage of the Banshee, for example, is it is the lowest priced PCC that actually shoots like you'd want a 9mm carbine to shoot like, and it shoots real freaking fast, and I like that a lot. Comes with some mean colors, stupid reliable. My previous one had several thousand rounds through it, loved it. This one is the Colt mag lower. Comes with different lowers depending on which one you want. Glock lower and the Colt mag lower are the two that I've had. Both of them are reliable. They can take AR parts, which is awesome. You want to drop in a Geissele trigger, you can do that. You want to change the grip, you can do that. You want to change the collapsible brace, you can do that as well. And CMMG has a proprietary buffer system in it, which shortens the overall length of pull on the Banshee to get it unbelievably short in a nice tiny little package, which is real nice. Comes with an ambi charging handle, ambi controls, and overall the quality of the gun, the fit and finish and quality of parts is superior to the previous ones that I mentioned. M-LOK rail, though it's very short, I have a tri-lug brake on here, which is pretty sweet, so I can put my Omega 9K. Most of my guns that I shoot a lot, my PCCs, have tri-lug systems on them because that's what I keep my suppressors, and that way you don't have to have a whole bunch of suppressors since they're relatively hard to get. You can just pop them on and off as you see fit. Low recoil, very reliable, awesome ergonomics, the best ergonomics of the bunch in my opinion, because they are AR ergonomics, and you know, what can I say, the AR is the best rifle. So overall, there's not a lot of bad news about the Banshee, and there's a fucking shitload of good news. The good news about it is that it's reliable and accurate, and it's still $1,200 to $1,400 at least where I've seen it, which is significantly lower than something like the MPX, which in my opinion functions almost exactly the same, but has a lot of other issues that you won't run into with the Banshee. Now, having the Colt mags or the Glock mags keeps those magazine prices in the area of $20 to $30, which is really nice, because if you want to have a go-to gun or a go-to training gun or anything like that, you're going to end up accumulating a lot of magazines, anywhere from 2 to 10, and you don't want to spend $10,000 on magazines like you will the next two on the list. So a lot of awesome parts, a lot of accessories to kit it out as you want, but if you don't want to, it comes pretty sweet right from the factory. CMMG Banshee, like I said, is my choice for people who want a good solid pistol caliber carbine that has AR ergonomics. So the reason for that is because if you have an AR but you want to shoot steel up close, let's say 10 yards, 12 yards, 15 yards, 9mm carbine is a fucking great way to do that, because you can shoot steel up close, have a lot of fun, not have to worry about any frag coming back or ruining your steel targets. The other nice thing about it is it takes Glock mags, so if you have a Glock already, which most people do, pop those in there, or you can use those Colt mag lowers as well, which are very reliable. 9mm is also cheaper than 5.56 anywhere, so you're going to be easily able to get it, and when you shoot it you won't cry so hard because you won't be shooting 50 cents a round, you just be shooting 49.5. Top rail takes all the AR optics you want, and again, similar functions including the dust cover and all that good stuff. So CMMG Banshee, just for the price and the quality and the lower recoil impulse than the previous guns, is the gun that if you had the money I would recommend you get into, because it's going to last you a lifetime and it's going to shoot a little softer, be a little bit more fun. Now, you want to get in the high-end stuff? We will get into that. First up is going to be the MPX, the gun which most people say is the best pistol caliber carbine, and I thought it was going to be, so when I bought mine, before I even shot it, I bought a lot of damn accessories that I probably didn't necessarily need, including like 7 or 8 magazines, which are, in case you're wondering, not $20, they are $70 to $80 a piece. Yeah, that's a lot. Only maybe comparatively to the 2011, the MPX is extremely expensive to get into, and one thing you're gonna have to be aware of with it is the Gen 1 and the Gen 2s, they're not great. I have a Gen 2 and it does have some reliability issues. There'll be a full 1,000-round review out shortly, but if you're gonna get into an MPX, spend a little extra money and get the Gen 3. They have a lot of fixes. You can't just type in Gen 3, however, they're gonna be the ones that have the M-LOK rail and things of that nature, because SIG doesn't distinguish generations, even though they make changes, which even makes some parts non-compatible. I'll give you an example. The Gen 2, the one that I have, actually has reverse European thread, so all the muzzle brakes and cool whiz-bang flash suppressors and all the stuff that even all the lower tier ones will take, this one won't. It also comes with kind of an outdated key mod rail. The M-LOK rail is super easy to put on though, and that's where we're going to get into the modularity of the MPX, which is pretty nice. So if you want to take off the rail, you got to just pop the front takedown pin, slide the damn thing off, put a new rail on. That's pretty cool. While you're there, if you want to change the barrel, all you have to do is take out 2 lugs and pull the barrel out, put a new barrel on it, which is pretty sweet as well. I have an Inled We Trust 8-inch barrel that I put on here for suppressor use, because again, factory barrel, you can't do that. Collapsible stock, which is pretty sweet, or collapsible brace, sorry. I like those better. Yeah, it's a little loose, my bad, I need to tighten it. It also does come loose if you don't Loctite it. You can also put buffer tube adapters in here for any sort of AR brace or anything like that you want. And I have an AR grip and an Timney trigger in here. This does not take AR triggers, which does kind of blow. However, there are Timney triggers available, and they're pretty awesome, so that's not so bad. It does have full ambi controls, which is nice if you're a lefty. This might be the gun that you'd want to get into, because even though CMG Banshee has a few, everything is ambi on the MPX, making it very user-friendly overall. Takes proprietary mags, but it does have this awesome big ass mag well there, so magazine reloads are super easy and intuitive. Now the nice thing about the MPX is that it has even lower recoil than the CMMG Banshee due to the short stroke piston system. I think that's what it is. Don't quote me on that. However, it does have a different recoil system in it than blowback or the delayed system of the Banshee, making it have the second lowest recoil impulse of all the pistol caliber carbines that I have tried, and that's pretty sweet. Considering that the K version here comes with a 5-inch barrel, it should have a lot more recoil than it does, but it doesn't. Very awesome to shoot, very smooth recoil impulse. However, we did have some reliability issues with the MPX, like 10 of them in 1,000 rounds, which is more than all the other guns. And for the going price of $2,000 to $3,000, that makes the MPX not really my favorite, especially for the money. Now we'll get into the highest tier of pistol caliber carbine, the HK. And the reason why that is because of freaking Die Hard. No, I'm kidding. But seriously, they're an awesome gun, but the price of these are phenomenal. Like, they're unbelievable. And I've done several videos on this because this is my favorite pistol caliber carbine. Partially because of the cool mystique of the MP5, especially the MP5K. This is an SP5K. It is semi-automatic. Sort of. But it has a 5-inch barrel, and it does come with a tri-lug system or the 1/2x28, so you can use either one if you'd like. Some of the downsides, the SP5K is going to be the battery of arms. If you want to reload, you got to operate the charging handle and such, the old HK slap, which every video on the SP5K or MP5K ever has gotten into, but it is a slower reloading process. Also, it's got kind of rudimentary sighting systems, and what I mean by that is that the drum and the hooded front sight work really well. However, it doesn't come with an optics rail, and since it's 2021 and not 1970, what the fuck. But there are rail systems available, even though they do kind of get in the way of charging the gun. They do allow you to put sweet things like this RMR in there, so you can be super tactical with the range, or you can just aim a little bit better, whichever you're into. SP5K is super modular as well. You can pop this little push pin out and put any number of foregrips or anything like that you want on there, and then pop it right in. Not quite as modular maybe as the MPX with the barrel systems and stuff, but pretty close, especially considering it's an older design. Another downside to it's going to be the paddle magazine release, which absolutely everybody loves. However, a drop-free AR magazine that you can just pop a magazine in and press a paddle is a lot faster, and you can get that for 1/3 the cost over here on the Banshee. Safety works all right, however, it is relatively high for a guy like me with big old Jack Skellington thumbs. It works really well, however, if you are a petite little lady like my wife, you're not gonna be able to reach it, so good luck with that. Buffer tube adapters, folding stocks, folding braces, all that stuff is available with the MP5, along with the undeniable cool factor of the MP5. It's in every action movie in history. It looks super awesome. If you bring it to the range, you immediately have people bowing down to you and begging you to shoot it, which is really nice. The prestige of the gun's awesome. The reliability of the gun's awesome. The shootability of the gun is fucking amazing. Absolutely amazing. It is lowest recoil impulse by far on all the guns, shoots really quickly, tons of magazines available, however they are pricey, in the area of $30 to $60 to even $70, again like the MPX. But if you are interested in MP5, cost is not a factor that you consider important, because like I said, especially the SP5K goes anywhere from $3,000 to $7,000 to $10,000. So even though it's awesome, best pistol carbine for the money, absolutely no way. Which is what brings us back to the Banshee full circle, and I think it's really the star of the video in my personal opinion, because if you're looking to spend a good amount of money, not a lot, but a good amount of money to get a good pistol caliber carbine, in my opinion, for under, let's say, $1,200, $1,300, this is the best you're gonna get, and I would fully recommend it. But I would also recommend the Strybog, the FX9, the XR EP9, and particularly the CZ Scorpion. If you're not worried about recoil impulse and you want something under $1,200 or $1,300 that will run forever, be super reliable, super military proven and all that, the Scorpion is another one. So I would consider the Banshee and then the Scorpion. If you're not concerned about AR controls or Glock magazines, the Scorpion is probably even more reliable and durable than the CMMG Banshee, but if you like the AR controls, you like the Glock mags, slide on over and get yourself a Banshee. If you liked the video, please like and subscribe. Please help out your local homeless shelters, and remember to recycle. I'll check you later.